Bread boys, today I got sent another funny video. That's right, another funny rascal is saying some stupid shit on TikTok. After watching this video, I had this strange urge to put 30 kids into a school bus and light it on fire. And the doors welded shut. So basically, there's this video of this woman completely melting the fuck down over a guy approaching her in a parking lot, and she's becoming viral because of it. You might be inferring right now, hey, you know, maybe he's just like holding her at gunpoint or something, and it just happened to be a man. Like something so scary that it would shiver your timbers. But as you know, the average TikToker doesn't think averagely. And so this man was 30 feet away from this woman, right? If you don't use dumb stupid freedom units and actually are like in the rest of the world, that's actually 9.1 meters, which is pretty fucking far away. Like, how do you threaten somebody from that far away? Like, this is how I imagine it would go. Eat shit and fucking die! Damn, that guy's kind of like piped up on some fentanyl. I'm gonna walk away. Which is like, you know, the usual way how to respond to things. And what this man said at a fucking distance is, "Excuse me, ma'am." That's all the context we get from the first video. And in response to him asking, "Excuse me, ma'am," she starts screaming like a fucking banshee. And her exact words,
"Do not approach me." I'm literally shaking right now because I just had a man approach me in a parking lot. And it went fine, and I'm going to tell you why it went fine and how to address it, because it was in a book I read, and this is how you're supposed to address it, but it scared me. I'm literally shaking. So this guy, I am alone with my son, by myself, a woman, and a male approached me in a parking lot. He's, "Excuse me, miss," and I don't know why in the hell he was approaching me or what he was trying to do. And before he was probably 30 feet from me when he said, "Excuse me, ma'am," and I turned around and I literally yelled at him and I said, "Do not approach me." And he like immediately started going in the other direction, and I just kept saying it over and over and over. I said, "Do not approach me, do not approach me." And he of course like got like, "What the F did it?" Like, he started cussing and yelling like, what's your problem? And I looked at him, and he actually then crossed a couple cars down from my car. He didn't come anywhere near me. He crossed a couple cars down from my car and was like, continuing to cuss and say, "What's your problem?" And I said, "You do not approach women in a parking lot." I just kept saying, "Do not approach me. You do not approach women in a parking lot," like yelling it. No male should ever approach a woman in a parking lot, ever. No male should ever approach a woman in a parking lot. And if a male does approach you, you need to turn around and use the strongest voice that you can possibly use with them. Don't be polite. They need to literally screw off. No male should be approaching you in a parking lot.
As you can see, she has no logical, actual explanation for why the fuck she did that, because she just keeps repeating her point over and over again. Like what Sneeko did in the Cuties debate with Moist Critical. So let's break down this video. So, there's a man that's 9 meters away from you, or if you're using stupid units, 30 feet, and he says, "Excuse me, ma'am." There's absolutely no other context other than just saying, "Excuse me, ma'am." Like, bro was just asking for directions, right? Then is made out to be a potential criminal. I can kind of see why you're a single mother now. Like, what if you dropped your wallet that had like $300 in it? If I was that guy trying to give somebody a wallet and they say, "Get the fuck away from me." Never approach me in a parking lot because I'm a woman. Never ever approach the opposite gender of yourself, especially in a parking lot. I would take that $300 and run. Like, fuck being a good person to this prick. I think we found the #1 spaz in the world.
And he like immediately started going in the other direction, and I just kept saying it over and over. "What the F did it?" Like, he started cussing and yelling like, what's your problem?
I like how she makes out what the guy said as fucking insane, even though she's hysterically screaming at the guy after saying, "Excuse me, ma'am." But no, obviously the guy who called you crazy is clinically insane. I think that's a fairly normal response to just walk away from your problems. And she even described how far away the guy was from her.
He didn't come anywhere near me.
She understood how respectful the gentleman was, saying, "Excuse me, ma'am," from a very far distance, and you were threatened by that just because he was a man. What is that smell? Is that sexism in there?
No male should ever approach a woman in a parking lot. Ever.
Hey, you know what? This actually makes so much fucking sense. Not under any circumstance can a man come up to a woman in a parking lot. Anytime there's a woman on the premises, all of the men should just get in their cars and drive away. Because, you know, we're just absolute menaces to society. They should actually write this into the law, that men can never talk to a woman ever again. Like, what if, for example, a man was a doctor, and there was a woman with cardiac arrest. You have to ask about many conditions and stuff. You just can't talk to them, you know, you just have to be mute, and you're a woman. This is some fucking giga brain logic right here. So I just imagine her having a heart attack, right? And a disgusting male comes up to her to like come help her, and she's like, "Do not approach me." Bro, I need whatever black tar heroin she's on, cause goddamn, I want to know what it feels like to be as dumb as a doorknob. Imagine making yourself the victim in the most like normal conversation ever. And believe it or not, there's still time in the video. And you may be asking why, you know, you kind of already covered the whole video. Well, it's because she made not one, not two, but 4 response videos to this whole like controversy. And in these 4 response videos, of course, she doesn't apologize or take accountability on how much she overreacted. She actually just doubles down over and over and over again.
Approached me today in a parking lot while I was alone with my son, bent over trying to put him in his car seat.
Okay, so first off, what do you mean by approach me? Because in your video, you said that he was about 9 meters away from you. So you know how in school they teach you about personal space and how you shouldn't like break other people's bubble that are like protecting them? Because you know, that's their personal space. Yeah, this woman's personal space bubble has a 30-meter radius. And anybody in that radius is quote unquote approaching you.
I'm getting a lot of comments like this one, that how I responded to protect me and my son in that situation was over the top. Other people are saying he could have just been trying to help, or that someone that says, "Excuse me, ma'am," isn't a criminal. So let me ask you this. What does a criminal look like? At what point do you choose to defend yourself?
Me personally, I put an M249 machine gun on my Ford Focus hatchback and open up the back door, and if anybody walks by me in a 30-foot radius, they're gonna get turned into SpongeBob V2, just in case anybody wants to come up to me and have a civil conversation, or for any tourist that is part of the male gender that is just new to the area and wants to know some directions. And whenever I have my baby son with me, I keep that international travel ICBM Russian missile in my back pocket. This is some smooth brain argument, like at what point do they become a criminal? Basically, what she's trying to say is, at what point do I know that someone's gonna hit me in the back of the head and tie me up and put me in the back of their car? A criminal is somebody who breaks the law. And also, I completely understand if the guy is like absolutely fucked up on a substance, or he's creepy in some way, like he looks suspicious, obviously. But not in this circumstance where you're screaming like a banshee when he's just like, "Excuse me, ma'am," from 30 feet away. I think this is a W for the TikTok comments that are calling you out for this redonkulous reaction.
Are you gonna wait until somebody with an orange jumpsuit approaches you? And as a woman, never underestimate your instincts.
I'm sorry, but what is this new bullshit? As a woman? Look, you're a fully grown human being with a fully developed brain, and you seem to not be able to tell the difference between who is sketchy and who is not sketchy. Like, as a woman, what? You just have higher instincts? Like, you're just a police dog now? You can just sniff out anybody who is a little bit suspect? Especially when it's just a dude trying to politely ask you a question? Like, how else would I approach you? How could you be more polite than that? Just for a little experiment for the woman who actually watched me, what do you guys think? And then after all of this, she actually gives a lot more context and says how the guy is shady and stuff.
I failed to provide some very much needed context in my last video, so we are going to get right on that. Because you guys just think I scream at guys in parking lots for fun, and that is not the case. This situation has never happened to me before, and I really hope it never happens again. So first of all, we were in a mall parking lot that was completely dead. I don't know what it is about the mall in the middle of the day, but there was nobody there. Second, this was the sketchiest looking guy I have ever seen in my entire life, and I think he was trying to ask me for money, because then he proceeded to walk down the rest of the parking lot looking for people to ask.
Now this makes me ponder on what she actually finds sketchy. Thinking of a malnourished homeless guy that just needs some money to keep him going for the rest of the day. No, you failed to describe what exactly he looked like, but I can't really tell if you're right or wrong in this situation, but I do know that you overreacted to the word "excuse me." Therefore, I think it's better to lean on the side of wrong. Or he must have been like wearing a scream mask or something. Like right now, I think this woman thinks that about 90% of men just look sketchy in general.
I didn't have any other form of protection. I didn't want him getting anywhere near enough to me to like knock me out and rob me. I'm not saying that definitely would have happened, but I didn't want to open up myself to that possibility.
Bro must have had like a fucking super soaker in his hands in like a menacing stance from 30 feet away. Like, this frail little homeless man's gonna knock you out and drag you to where he doesn't have a home, and he's gonna rob you from 30 feet away. That's crazy. I don't know how this woman like goes outside normally. She just looks around as a schizo like, "Oh, there's everybody around me. Everybody's gonna rob me. Everyone's gonna beat me up." Like, that's not a good mentality to have when you go into public. You sound like a crazy person when you do shit like that.
When I first saw this guy, I had just put my son in his car seat, and I stood up to see this guy across the aisle, the other cars. I'm not sure if that's exactly 30 feet, but that's where he was. And I mean, he was walking as fast as he possibly could towards me, so fast that I did not have the time to walk around to my other side of the car and get in.
Yeah, at this point, I think that this is some caparoni macaroni, and she's making it up along the way, so she sounds justified. Like, homegirl is saying that she is calculating the velocity and how fast he was going towards you. Like, homegirl estimated that she had absolutely no time to go to the other end of the car. Like, how did you know that? Didn't Didn't you say you're like putting your baby in your car? So you were like right next to him? Like in your last video? This is a very inconsistent story. It's not really adding up because the first time you said that he was 30 feet away, and then you said that he was right next to you when you're putting the baby in the car. Now you're saying he was sprinting at you at Mach 13. I feel like you just got called out for your stupidity and now you're just trying to cover it up in any way, shape, and form. To, you know, make her look like she's reasonable and not crazy in real life.
Guys, I promise I don't just yell at people in parking lots in like a 30 feet radius.
Gap.
Finally, I definitely hadn't dropped anything. This guy wasn't trying to help me. He was coming at me from the opposite direction of where I came out of the store.
You wouldn't know if you dropped something now, would you, bud? Until someone, you know, like came up behind you and said that, hey, miss, you dropped something. Like, what is this room temp IQ logic? Like, maybe he's just, you know, looking for directions like a normal person. Or he's just actually homeless and needs some cash. You know, maybe let the dude ask and maybe fucking give him something because, you know, he asked so fucking nicely. Like, I genuinely think that you should repay him for being in your presence. It's very not healthy for you to think that every man in a parking lot is out to get you.
Girl, I am not a super paranoid person. I don't scare easily. It's actually, my husband has actually had to tell me, you need to take a little bit more precautions because there are bad people in this world.
I'm sorry that I assumed you were a single mother. I can assume he married you because your looks, because there's nothing really going on in that brain department. Like, I bet you I can turn her head sideways and look directly through both her ear holes.
For me to be in a situation like this that legitimately scared me, it wasn't a good situation. I did what I needed to do to protect myself and my son, and if that was an overreaction, then so be it. I would rather overreact in the moment and absolutely nothing happen than open myself up to the possibility of something happening. And again, I really hope this never happens again. I like talking to people in public. I'm generally pretty friendly to people in public, but this was not that.
No, you think it's okay to overreact because you have almost zero empathy towards other people. Because I can tell that you're just not considering how the other guy felt. You come off as an absolute dogshit personality and human being. Of course, protecting yourself isn't a bad thing at all. Like, I'm not saying that. But you gotta think about the other guy, you know? He just wanted to come up to you and ask for a little bit of money or some directions or whatever. This is a nice woman that I could probably talk to and have a normal conversation with and not get screeched at. And then he finally barely touches the 30 feet boundary. And then alarm mode turns on and she gets stuck on repeat saying, don't step any closer. Imagine what he's thinking in that moment. He's like, do I look disgusting? Do I look menacing? What did I do wrong? He's gonna be inside of his head for at least 3 hours afterward. A woman screaming from 30 feet away at a guy from literally nothing does not look good. And you probably traumatized the poor dude. You have absolutely no idea if he has social anxiety or something or has trouble talking to people. And it obviously worsens when he has to talk to bad apples like you. When you start screaming at him that he's an absolute horrible person just for like coming close to you within 30 feet. He probably would just never approach a woman again. Maybe he was just trying to help you out. Or maybe pull up just to say a compliment. Like, who knows, maybe your hair just looked really good that day. But bro literally just sounded the alarms as soon as he came 30 feet to her. Bro got that Sentry Turret megaphone treatment. Imagine getting rejected from across a parking lot. And then with the fourth and last video that I'm gonna react to. She just calls everybody fucking idiots and everybody's getting triggered by everything she's saying. For absolutely no reason, obviously. Which is actually hilariously ironic. Because if I scroll in the comments, about 50% of them are women. Calling her out on her absolute stupid dumb stupid head logic.
The amount of guys that are triggered by my last post is like unhinged, absolutely unhinged. If anything, it has just solidified in my mind how important it is to protect you and your kids and to go with your instinct when you feel like you're in an unsafe situation. Stay safe out there, ladies, because if you don't keep you and yours safe, no one else is going to.
Yes, ladies, listen to my fear-mongering advice. Everybody be scared of everybody you talk to, especially if they're disgustingly male. But if they have a large salami swinging, you know damn well they're misogynistic. You're making people be scared of everybody they talk to. Like, I'm not against her words and what she's actually saying. Like, sure, yeah, I have no problem with you actually, like, looking out for yourself. And yes, I do believe women should be safe. But that doesn't mean you should fear everybody you talk to. She's making women think about how every man on the street could fuck her up, steal from her, rob from her, any shape and form, negatively affecting them. Which is just unhealthy for both sides. It's kinda genuinely sad that you guys want to split up the genders and hate each other. With this exact same logic, in the future, people are gonna judge other people just because of what you have in between your legs. Which is absolute fucking bonkers to me. And I hope people come to their senses and are like, yo, actually this person with a dick isn't really that bad. She's preaching how you should scream at any man that dares approach you in a 30 feet radius. Please don't take this crazy lady's advice. I hope the son got the other side of the gene pool, actually has a thinking part of their brain, and realizes how fucking crazy his mom is, and doesn't pick up on any of the crazy shit she preaches. But anyway, this is the end of the video. If you made it to the end, congratulations. You don't have to like or subscribe, but you know, you made it to the end, so you obviously like my content, so might as well. Mwah, love you guys. Don't let the bed bugs eat your ass or however it goes. Many bitches in your future, and as always, stay hydrated.